Hey guys, welcome back to the new James Bond show with Krazy Kajeevie, the bad boy of James Bond with no fears, limits or substitutes. I got my boy Richard Kiel here for a reason. But guys, I am joined back once again with my co-host, the one, the only, 00 Scooby is back. Give me five, alright, give me a lick. He wasn't on the show for a while, guys, because we had a bit of a contractual dispute. Basically, Scooby wanted a pay rise. I wasn't going to give him the pay rise, but I said, look, I'll pay you in doggy bones, extra doggy bones. And you agreed, didn't you? Yeah, give me a kiss. Didn't expect that tongue. I said a kiss, not tongue. Okay, guys, what am I doing? I am doing Monday in Memoriam. And this guy's probably a little bit of a clue of who we're doing the Monday in Memoriam for. The one, the only Richard Kiel, who of course played Jaws in 1977 Spy Lummy, and of course 1979's Moonraker, playing the one, the only villain Jaws, who ended up more like a bit of a good guy, really, didn't he? Okay, so Richard Kiel was born September 13th, 1939, and tragically passed away, apparently of a heart attack, at the age of 74 on September 10th, 2014. Now, if you have a look at that guy, so he was aged 74 when he died on September 10th, but his birth date was September 13th. So Richard Kiel was, sadly, he passed away 3 days prior to his 75th birthday. So I reckon that should just say 75, really, technically. But yeah, he's one of the favourites. He's definitely one of the fan favourites. And even with people that don't know a lot about James Bond, they'll often say, oh, that film, is that the one with that? Is that what the one with that? And how many times have you heard people say, is that the one with the guy with the steel teeth? And even though they may not know his name, Richard Kiel, they may not know his character name, Jaws, everyone still knows the guy with the silver teeth, which of course, Richard Kiel, Jaws. Prior to starring in The Spy Who Loved Me, he did appear in some episodes of The Monkees as well. Later on, he went on to do other films, including Clint Eastwood's Pale Rider, which I believe was around the mid to late 80s. He did Pale Rider, which I saw as a kid too. I saw as a child because my dad was a huge Clint Eastwood fan. And of course, a lot of you will remember he appeared in, I believe it was 1998, in the Adam Sandler hit comedy Happy Gilmore, which I needed a day, probably about 4 months ago. I just needed a happy day, no pun intended, a day I just wanted to put a movie on and chill out. And it was a day off work, and I found for $5, I actually found it on Blu-ray, Blu-ray, eBay. I'm having one of those days, I'm a bit tired, guys. I found it on eBay, Happy Gilmore, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get that. And I think it cost me like between $3 and $5. So I got Happy Gilmore, and then a day off work, I put it on. And I tell you what, that film is so good. And the appearances of this man, of Richard Kiel in it, is just absolutely hilarious. I think from memory, his name wasn't it Mr. Wilson? Wasn't it Mr. Wilson or something? And he was Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore's boss in it, and he had the nail stuck in his head. And when I first saw it, I remember I saw back in I think it was when it came out on VHS, and me and my ex-girlfriend, or girlfriend at the time, we got it. And so I saw it back then, and we laughed so much. And me, I'd grown up being this massive James Bond fan, and I didn't even, you're just staring at me, aren't you? Oh, yes. And I'm like, I didn't quite recognise him, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that's Richard Kiel, that's Jaws, so wow. Now, what I've got for you guys is a quote here from Roger Moore. So Roger Moore gave this quote when Richard Kiel passed away, and I just think this is an absolutely beautiful quote, so I'd like to read it. I'd like to read it to you guys. So Roger Moore said, "He was one of the loveliest, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but sweetest men. He was very kind. He was a very bright man. He looked extraordinary, and you wouldn't think at first glance that this was one hell of a brain." So he's basically saying Richard Kiel was a brainiac. He was a marvellous, warm-hearted man. He was a big man with an even bigger heart. Now, in interviews I have seen, including the one on the David Letterman show with Richard Kiel, he was a sweetheart, and I've never heard a bad word about him. And I also remember a James Bond fan I know met Richard Kiel in Sydney. I believe it was 2013. Richard Kiel attended it was kind of like a Comic Con. It probably was Comic Con. I can't remember the exact one. Or I think it actually was Supernova. I think he might have said it was Supernova. And Richard Kiel was there. And apparently, I'm pretty sure George Lazenby was there as well. And he showed me a photo of him with Richard Kiel. And Richard Kiel's hand took up his whole head. Unbelievable. The guy was just massive. He was 7'2". So guys, that's what I've got for you. If anyone out there, you've got memories, even if you never met Richard Kiel, if you've got favourite memories of him, whether it was Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker, whether it was TV or film before he appeared in the James Bond films, or after the James Bond film, let us know in the comments below what your fond memories of Richard Kiel were. Guys, also don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment. I love reading your comments. Till next time, guys, keep on bonding and say hi to your mum for me. You coming? You going on strike? No, you're not getting the pay rise. Well, doggy bones, come on, let's go. Come on.